Hey everybody, Dave here, Hidden Freedom. Happy holidays. It's almost 2024. And you know what that means? That means that all of the passive income for 2023 is in the books. And that's what we're going to look at in this video. We're going to look at all of my passive income for 2023. And we can maybe make some changes for 2024. So let's not waste any time. Let's go ahead and get started. All right, just a few days left in 2023 here, and we're almost going to ring in the new year for 2024 in a couple of days. It is early in the morning. Well, it's almost 8 o'clock, so we're going to go ahead and look here at a tab I created just for this. So I got all of the passive income blanked out and the sources blanked out, and we'll reveal those one line at a time, and we'll talk about those. So this is the breakdown here. We got 52% was in dividends, options at 5%. Real estate notes at 23%, and then interest income was at 18%. So we'll talk about some of these numbers and what kind of like what 2024 looks like. So let's go ahead and reveal the first line here. All right, the first line is revealed, and that is options income. So options income for 2023 was $4,516, and we'll talk about the tax thing at the very end here. So I did not do a lot of options in 2023, and we'll talk about that as well when we get to the interest. So because of an options account, and that was a big part of my income for 2021 and 2022. Not so much, but in 2023, $4,500 is not chump change, but it also did not play a huge role in my income this year. And part of that is just because of the interest rates being where they are. So let's go ahead and release the second line here. All right, the second line there is real estate notes. I had over $19,195 of income from real estate notes. I did a video on my real estate notes, and I'm slowly getting out of those. I have 2 notes left at this point, but I've had up to 9 notes. And those generated this year in 2023 over $19,000 of interest income. And then of that was $14,495 of that was taxable. Like I said, we'll talk about that here in just a second. So real estate notes were over 23% of my passive income for this year. If you're interested in real estate notes, I did a video on them. You can take a look at that video on the top right over here. And I know that I don't really make a lot of videos on it. It's just is what it is. It's just if you're interested in knowing a little bit more about them, take a look at that video. All right, let's go ahead and reveal the next line here. Okay, and that brings us to the third section here, or third source of passive income for 2023, interest income. I had over $15,670 of interest income. Of that, $15,670 of that is taxable. And that is primarily the reason why I just didn't do options income a lot this year, right? So I had, $4,500 of options income. Well, a lot of, my Interactive Brokers account pays 4.8% to have money just sitting there. Now I can trade options with that money and collect interest. So that is kind of like a double dipping effect, as I like to call it. So, but at the same time, I don't need to be aggressive with the options because I'm getting paid interest income. And guess what? They're really, short-term options and interest income are both taxed the same. So I just wasn't so aggressive with options this year. If I'm getting paid to really kind of not do anything, but I can even be more super safe with the options, and mostly, I'd say 90% of the time, maybe 95% of the time, I'm just doing cash secured puts anyway. Then I can just be super safe with those, collect something, but I'm still getting paid interest at the same time. Okay, let's pop up the last source here, and the last source is dividends. So I had over $44,000 of a dividend income for 2023. Of that, $28,860 is taxable. So I talked about this in a few videos ago that I'm trying to reduce my dividend income, and I know a lot of people weren't happy about that, but this is my life, this is my portfolio, and I talk about the reasons why I do it. And, people still didn't like that. I mean, it is what it is. There's a reason why I'm doing that. I have a W-2 job right now, and I need to reduce this passive income. So let's just take a look at the tax information here by revealing that. And I have taxes due at over $16,870 for 2023. This is just a guesstimate, obviously. Got the tax rate there, options and real estate notes and interest. That's all going to be taxed at my normal rate. And then I have dividends there at 20%. And you're probably thinking, well, isn't that qualified dividends? Well, some of it is, some of it's not. So that's where I have it at 20%. So, because there's a little bit of JEPI there, right? If we go here and look at my portfolio right now, and we scroll down to the bottom here, I got some JEPI there. Okay, now I got 1,794 shares of JEPI, and that's going to bring in over about $7,000 of annual income. But not all that's going to be qualified. Some of it's going to be, return of capital. Some of it could be long term. Some could be short term. Qualified or non-tax preferable. So I did a video on JEPI, on the taxes for JEPI. If you want to take a look at that video, it's on the top right over here. Now granted, that was for a couple years ago. As soon as the documents are released for JEPI, I'll go ahead and do an updated JEPI tax video, and I'll also do one on SPY as well. So that's the reason I put that at 20%, and that actually may be a little low. We don't know until the tax documents come out for JEPI. So I was invested in more than just JEPI this year. If we go back here to look at my portfolio, I have DIVO and SCHD in there because I was actually invested in those earlier this year. So some of my passive income that I have for the dividends there of the 44,000 could have been from SCHD and a little bit from DIVO as well. And that's the reason why I calculated this at 20%, and actually may even could be higher than that, maybe up to as high as 25%. But I wanted to be kind of conservative on that. So instead of going 15%, I just did 20% there. And that brings my taxes due at $16,870. Now, maybe a little bit higher than that. Now, obviously, had I not had any W-2 income, then I wouldn't be too worried about this. I could bring all these down to, I'd say maybe even 20% or something like that, right? If I did 20% for these, it reduces my tax bill quite significantly, and just do 15% there. But, that is not the case. I got W-2 income. It's going to push my income over the, magic threshold, as I like to call it, of 200K, like 240, 260 or something like that. Then there's going to be an issue with that because you're going to pay a lot more taxes, as the government likes to, add a lot of extra, I guess it's kind of the line in the sand, a little over that 200K mark, right, where you get the Obamacare tax, and there's more Social Security tax, and there's also more, there's another tax too. I think the self-employment tax actually went up as well. So, and also, there's just a bunch of taxes that they don't ever talk about. Nobody really talks about, as the government likes to tell you that we're not taxing anybody. There's no taxes going up on anybody that makes less than $400,000 a year. Well, that is bull crap. There's another tax coming in 2026 of the Secure Act 2.0, where if you're over 50, that money is not going to come out of pre-tax for the catch-up, right? So you're going to have to put it in a Roth. Well, that's $7,500, right? So I calculate that to be roughly about $2,000 or $3,000 of pre-tax money. Well, guess what? That's gone in 2026. Right when I'm going to turn 50 years old. So this is the reason why I talk about it. This is even the reason why I make these videos, right? I'm not trying to hear, oh, I got $83,000 of income coming in. I can early retire on that, blah, 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 right? No, I talk about these videos. I make these videos and to help you prepare for taxes, right? Now, if I was completely retired and I have $63,000 coming in on the taxable side and I'm single, guess what? I'm still going to be taxed on that, right? You got that, standard deduction at 13,800 or whatever. I think 2024 is going up to 14.2 or something like that. Yeah, you can wipe out this real estate notes income or something like that. But, because I don't have all just dividend incomes, they're not all qualified, well, I'm going to still get taxed, right? So, this is the reason I make these types of videos, because you need to be thinking about what type of income you're going to have post retirement or post early retirement, or even when you retire in general. Okay, now granted, I don't have to deal with required minimum distributions. I don't have to deal with taking anything out of my tax deferred accounts yet. I'll let those grow. I'm still in my 40s. But I'm also thinking about all this stuff, right? And that's the reason why I made a couple of videos ago, about the reason why I kicked dividends to the curb. If you want to take a look at that video, look at the top right over here. And, I kicked dividends to the curb just for now. I need to reduce this passive income just a little bit, right? I want to get it down to, not zero, but, if I can reduce the interest income, which will be reduced automatically next year, I think, anyway, when the old government reduces the interest rates. Dividends will get reduced because right now my portfolio is in mostly SPY, right? So, 1.4 million in SPY, and that's going to be $19,000, 19,716 in dividend income, but not all of that's going to be taxable, because in my brokerage it's going to be $9,000, right? Now I have a pretty big portion in the tax deferred accounts, 247,000 there and 533,000 there. And I won't be getting taxed on that 7,200, nor will I be getting taxed on this 3,300. Those are tax sheltered accounts. So all I got to worry about now is this 9,000, right? And that's going to be in SPY, so that should be almost all qualified dividends there. But obviously I have to worry about this JEPI at $77,000. And most of that's going to be going into my HSA account, which is tax preferable anyway, so I can kind of offset that a little bit. So I reduced my JEPI dividend income significantly, and then I also got out of DIVO and got out of SCHD for now. And so I'm going to reduce that income significantly by going into SPY, which has a lower dividend yield at 1.5%. So that's the plan. Right now I'm projecting my income to be $27,000 for roughly 2024 for dividends, and then going forward for 2024, as interest rates get lowered, those will get lowered automatically as well. And then real estate notes, I got out of one of those. Unfortunately, the two that are left are on the taxable side, so I'll still be making roughly about $12,000 on real estate notes next year. And then options income, I have a little bit plans to maybe increase that a little bit. The goal is probably about $10,000 next year in options income. Still want to be super safe with that money, but as interest rates slowly get reduced, I'll still be making money off of interest in that account. And if you want to take a look at that account, the accounts here, I got some T-bills here that I'm in, so I'm collecting interest on those as well. But the $332,000 here, I'm collecting interest in. If you look at this account right now, just for this month alone, I'm at $878. So, yeah, that's the plan, is just to reduce this interest income automatically by the government lower the interest rates, and then still trade options in there, collect some options income. Like my goal is about maybe $10,000 or something like that. But I'm not going to be super aggressive with it. So that's the breakdown for passive income for 2023. So for 2024, we're going to try to further reduce my taxable income wherever possible. My actual W-2 income is actually going to go up from where it was at in 2023. So I need to reduce that income on the passive income side as much as possible. And then we'll just let it ride on in SPY. And that's the plan for now, to let SPY ride where it has a lower yield at 1.5%. But obviously, I'll have to deal with the capital gains and SPY. If the market goes up 10% next year, that'll be a significant capital gain. But about half the year or so, it'll be all long-term capital gains at that point, and we'll make a decision there what we want to do. I continue to do covered calls with the other accounts, but I'm pretty safe with those as well. I'm not really doing many covered calls in the brokerage side because I don't want to realize this $50,000 of the capital gains, especially when it's short-term capital gains. Yeah, I could do a forever roll, I could roll it, but right now I'm just not looking at doing that. Anyways, I hope everybody had a great holiday, and let's ring in the new year for 2024. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns on this video, leave a comment down below, and we'll see you in the new year. Thanks for watching.